Icelanders are a North Germanic ethnic group and nation who are native to the island country of Iceland and speak Icelandic. Icelanders established the country of Iceland in mid-930 AD when the Althing met for the first time. Iceland came under the reign of Norwegian, Swedish and Danish kings but regained full sovereignty and independence from the Danish monarchy on the 1st of December 1918, when the Kingdom of Iceland was established. On the 17th of June 1944, the monarchy was abolished and the Icelandic Republic was founded. The language spoken is Icelandic, a North Germanic language, and Lutheranism is the predominant religion. Historical and DNA records indicate that around 60 to 80% of the male settlers were of Norse origin and a similar percentage of the women were of Gaelic stock from Ireland and peripheral Scotland. Iceland is a geologically young land mass, having formed an estimated 20 million years ago due to volcanic eruptions on the mid-Atlantic ridge. One of the last larger islands to remain uninhabited. The first human settlement date is generally accepted to be 874 AD. Although there is some evidence to suggest human activity prior to the Norse arrival. The first Viking to sight Iceland was Gerdar Swavasan, who went off course due to harsh conditions when sailing from Norway to the Faroe Islands. His reports led to the first efforts to settle the island. Floki Vilgerisson was the first Norseman to sail to Iceland intentionally. His story is documented in the Landnámabók manuscript, and he is said to have named the island Island. The first permanent settler in Iceland is usually considered to have been a Norwegian chieftain named Ingólfur Arnason. He settled with his family in around 874 at a place he named Bay of Smokes, or Reykjavik in Icelandic, following Ingólfur, and also in 874. Another group of Norwegians set sail across the North Atlantic Ocean with their families, livestock, slaves, and possessions, escaping the domination of the first king of Norway, Harald Fairhair. They traveled 1,000 kilometers in their Viking longships to the island of Iceland. These people were primarily of Norwegian, Irish or Gaelic Scottish origin. The Irish and the Scottish Gaels were either slaves or servants of the Norse chiefs, according to the Icelandic sagas, or descendants of a group of Norsemen who had settled in Scotland and Ireland and intermarried with Gaelic-speaking people. Genetic evidence suggests that approximately 62% of the Icelandic maternal gene pool is derived from Ireland and Scotland, which is much higher than other Scandinavian countries, although comparable to the Faroese, while 37% is of Nordic origin. About 20 to 25% of the Icelandic paternal gene pool is of Gaelic origin, with the rest being Nordic. The Icelandic age of settlement is considered to have lasted from 874 to 930, at which point most of the island had been claimed and the Alþingi, the assembly of the Icelandic Commonwealth, was founded at Ingvellir. In 930, on the Ingvellir plain near Reykjavik, the chieftains and their families met and established the Alþingi, Iceland's first national assembly. However, the Alþingi lacked the power to enforce the laws it made. In 1262, struggles between rival chieftains left Iceland so divided that King Håkon IV of Norway was asked to step in as a final arbitrator for all disputes, as part of the Old Covenant. This is known as the Age of the Stirlings. Iceland was under Norwegian leadership until 1380, when the royal house of Norway died out. At this point, both Iceland and Norway came under the control of the Danish crown. With the introduction of absolute monarchy in Denmark, the Icelanders relinquished their autonomy to the crown, including the right to initiate and consent to legislation. This meant a loss of independence for Iceland, which led to nearly 300 years of decline, perhaps largely because Denmark and its crown did not consider Iceland to be a colony to be supported and assisted. In particular, the lack of help in defense led to constant raids by marauding pirates along the Icelandic coasts. Unlike Norway, Denmark did not need Iceland's fish and homespun wool. This created a dramatic deficit in Iceland's trade, and no new ships were built as a result. In 1602, Iceland was forbidden to trade with other countries by order of the Danish government. and in the 18th century climatic conditions had reached an all-time low since settlement. In 1783–84 Lucky, a volcanic fissure in the south of the island, erupted. The eruption produced about 15 cubic kilometers of basalt lava, and the total volume of tephra emitted was 0.91 cubic kilometers. The aerosols that built up caused a cooling effect in the northern hemisphere. The consequences for Iceland were catastrophic, with approximately 25 to 33% of the population dying in the famine of 1783 and 1784. Around 80% of sheep, 50% of cattle, and 50% of horses died of fluorosis from the 8 million tons of fluorine that were released. This disaster is known as the Mist Hards.